Choosing which coins you spend changes the story of the transaction. That is coin control. Last episode, we talked about wallet labels. A label is the wallet's memory. It tells future you where a coin came from, what context it belongs to, and why you might not want to mix it casually with another coin. But memory is only useful if you act on it. That is where coin control comes in. Coin control is the ability to choose which unspent transaction outputs, or UTXOs, your wallet uses as inputs when you make a Bitcoin transaction. In plain English, it is choosing which coins pay the bill. This matters because a Bitcoin wallet balance can look like one number, while underneath it is usually many separate pieces. A coin from an exchange withdrawal, a coin from a client payment, a coin from a friend, a coin from a donation, a coin from cold storage, a coin that came back as change. The wallet may show one balance. The blockchain sees pieces. And when you spend, the wallet has to pick pieces. If it picks carelessly, it can connect stories you meant to keep separate. Imagine you have 3 coins. One came from a regulated exchange tied to your identity. One came from a public donation address. One came from a personal payment. If your wallet combines 2 of those coins as inputs in one transaction, an outside observer may infer that the same spender controlled both inputs. That is not always catastrophic. It is not the same as losing your coins. It does not reveal your private key, but it can reveal relationships. It can collapse separate contexts into one cluster, and it can make the transaction say more than you intended. That is the privacy story. Coin control lets you slow down before that happens. Instead of saying, wallet, grab whatever you want, you ask a better question. Which coin should fund this payment? That question changes the habit. If you are paying a public merchant, maybe you do not want to use the coin tied to your cold storage stack. If you are paying a client refund, maybe you want to use coins from the business context. If you are consolidating small outputs, maybe you wait until fees are low and avoid mixing unrelated histories. If a coin has a sensitive origin, maybe you do not merge it casually. Coin control is not paranoia. It is accounting plus privacy awareness. It is the spending version of labeling. Labels answer, what is this coin? Coin control asks, should this coin be used here? That is why labels and coin control belong together. Without labels, coin control becomes a guessing game. You are staring at dates and amounts, trying to remember what happened months ago. With labels, the decision becomes practical. Exchange withdrawal, business income, cold storage, gift, donation, change. Now the wallet has context. Now you can choose. There is also a fee side to this. Bitcoin transactions use inputs. More inputs generally mean more transaction data. More data can mean higher fees. So coin selection is not only about privacy. It can also affect cost and transaction size. Sometimes a wallet is trying to minimize fees. Sometimes a user is trying to preserve privacy. Sometimes the best choice depends on urgency, fee conditions, and what the coins represent. That is why coin control should not be sold as a magic button. It is a tool. Used well, it helps. Used blindly, it can confuse people. Used without labels, it can become theater. The goal is not to manually micromanage every sat forever. The goal is to understand that spending is not neutral. Spending selects history. Every input you include tells a story. Every input you combine may connect stories. Every change output creates a new piece that will matter later. So here is the simple checklist. First, label coins when the memory is fresh. Second, separate obvious contexts: personal, business, exchange, donation, cold storage. Third, before spending, look at which coins the wallet wants to use. Fourth, ask what those inputs would connect. Fifth, avoid combining unrelated contexts unless you have a reason. Sixth, do not put secrets in labels. Seventh, remember that privacy tools do not remove judgment. That is coin control in one sentence. Spend the coin that fits the context, not the biggest coin, not the oldest coin, not whatever the wallet grabbed first, the coin that fits the context. Here is a practical example. Suppose you have a coin that came from an exchange withdrawal. You also have a coin that came from a public donation address. And you have a small coin that came back to you as change from a previous transaction. Your wallet may show one balance, but those 3 pieces do not have the same history. If you make a payment and the wallet combines the exchange coin with the donation coin, the transaction may reveal that the same spender controlled both. If you use the change coin with a completely unrelated payment, you may carry old history into a new context. If you spend from the wrong bucket, you may make your own future labeling harder. None of that means you did something illegal. None of that means you lost funds. It means the transaction became more informative than it needed to be. That is the mistake coin control helps you avoid. It gives you a pause button. Before broadcast, you can look at the inputs and ask, does this payment need these coins? Would this connect two parts of my life that should stay separate? Am I creating a bigger transaction than necessary? Would waiting for a lower fee environment make more sense? Is this a consolidation transaction, a payment transaction, or a cleanup transaction? Those are different jobs. They should not always use the same coins. This is also why coin control can feel intimidating at first. It exposes the fact that Bitcoin is not a bank account with one invisible ledger balance. It is a set of spendable outputs. That can feel like extra work, but it is also the point. Bitcoin gives the user more direct control over money. More control means more responsibility, and responsibility gets easier when the wallet's memory is organized. That is why last episode came first. Labels are not decoration, labels are infrastructure for future decisions. A label written today can save you from a bad merge 6 months from now. A clean context today can keep a future payment from broadcasting unnecessary information. A little organization today can make coin control feel normal instead of scary. The beginner version is simple. You do not need to become a chain analyst. You do not need to obsess over every input. You just need to stop thinking of the wallet balance as one pile. Start thinking in context. Personal savings, business income, exchange withdrawal, public receipt, gift, change. Then when you spend, ask whether the selected coin matches the job. That habit alone is a major upgrade. Bitcoin gives you the ability to hold separate pieces of money. Coin control gives you a way to spend those pieces intentionally. It does not make Bitcoin perfectly private. It does not make bad habits safe. It does not guarantee anonymity, but it does give you a chance to avoid the obvious mistake, turning one wallet balance into one public story. Next episode, we go one level deeper. Change outputs, the coin your wallet sends back to you, and why many privacy mistakes happen after the payment is made. This is Exit Velocity. Think in Bitcoin. Educational only, not financial, tax, legal, security, or privacy advice.